Getting an athletic scholarship in college is amazing. The idea that a coach thought enough in you to give you money to actually fuel your education and play the game that you love, I don't know if there's a better feeling for that. But you know what's more amazing than actually getting a scholarship? Being able to maintain one, being able to hold on to one the entire time of you being in college. Today I'm gonna give you 4 tips, all dealing with scholarships that you should know. And my first tip is, where you start is not necessarily where you finish. When I first got started, I was a person that wasn't picked to go to college and play basketball or go to college, period. And then I got an opportunity to play. I redshirted that first year. That means I just went to practice. I went through everything they went through in practice, but I didn't get the payoff of actually playing in the game. And I had to pay my way through school that first year. That's not where I finished. Every year after that, when I was an athlete, I got everything paid for. So I need you to have that mentality as far as, listen, everybody's not going to have a red carpet kicked before their feet when they're going into college. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get some things paid for after you get started. Sometimes you have to prove yourself once you're in college, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not careful, you can really get down on yourself coming out of high school or coming out of junior college and feel like, well, since I wasn't recruited, then if he didn't recruit me then if he didn't give me any scholarship money then I'm probably not going to get any in the future, and that's just not factual. Understanding that I know everybody wants a scholarship, a full ride athletic scholarship. Everybody wants, who doesn't want that? Everybody wants that, but I need you to understand that sometimes that's predicated on just how many scholarships they have available. Depending upon if you're D1, D2, depending upon the size of the school, sometimes they only have a certain amount of scholarships. So if you got recruited late, then that scholarship cap could have already been taken before you got there. That's not your fault. Sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. So don't get so hell bent on, if he didn't want to, if that person didn't give me a scholarship, that means that person doesn't want me. That's not the case at all. Sometimes there's only a certain amount of money in the budget for scholarships. And it's a lot less than a lot of people think it is. So it's not necessarily a reflection on you necessarily. Sometimes it's just the budget doesn't allow that at that very moment. That doesn't mean it's not going to be the case the next semester or the next year, but at that very moment, they don't have money for you as far as you being on a full ride scholarship. 3. Now this is one that I didn't know until much later, okay? When I say full ride scholarship, what does that mean to you? A lot of people, when I say full ride scholarship, they're thinking that I want a full ride basketball scholarship. Very few people get full ride basketball scholarships. I myself didn't get a full ride basketball scholarship, but I got a full ride. What does that mean? Once you get in college, you start realizing that you can start piecing things together. Okay, and this is why it's so important for you to know your numbers. Like I tell y'all about, like, you need to know how much is your meal plan, how much is your housing, how much is financial aid, how much is Pell Grant, how much is this, how much is this stipend. Like, you need to know these things like the back of your hand yourself. It's okay that your coach can help you along and the advisor can help you, but it's your job. You're fitting the bill at the end of the day, so you need to know this stuff. And this is important because, like, say if you wanted to go to school in Texas, okay? There's some incentives for people to go to college in Texas that went to high school in Texas. That's in-state, right? It's going to be less money for you to go to that school than someone that is coming from Maine or California or Florida. It's going to be less money, all right? The same in a lot of universities, the same thing as far as sister states. So if a state is bordering that state, that may be a financial incentive for you to go to a school there than it would be for someone further out. That helps you out a lot when you start coming with these scholarships, because sometimes just the very fact that you are in the state or in a bordering state, you may be eligible for a particular scholarship that you wouldn't be able to have beforehand. All right. So if you have that, and let's say that pays $5,000, and let's say that you had an education academic scholarship as well, so that pays another $5,000 or $10,000. And maybe basketball says, you know what, I want this player around, and they give you an extra $7,000 a semester. You can see very quickly that you can piece these things together and still have a full ride, and it's not necessarily all from basketball. So before you know it, you have a full ride, but it's not a situation that you got all of it from basketball. And to be honest, who cares that if you got it from all basketball? At the end of the day is you want to get as much education paid for as possible. That's what you need to be worried about, So I mean, because there's very few people that can get that. So to be able to get any of that is a big deal. So that's one thing I want to tell you about as far as build your own scholarship. Do as much homework as you can as far as grants, as far as whatever financial aid you'll be able to get, whatever scholarships you can get, whatever, any of that stuff. You need to make sure that you can piece that thing together and realize that it's not all about just your particular sport. Your sport can give you some money, that's great. But if that stuff isn't paid off the way you want it to, if your debt is still high, then understand there are more opportunities out there for you to add on to it. You can build that thing up and still get that full ride, or build that thing up and get, whether it's partial, even if it's partial, any money is a big deal, okay? I don't want, because some people are here thinking, well, if I don't get a scholarship, then I don't want to go. To be able to play the game you love, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Your deal, your mindset should be, how can I think about this ahead of time and make sure that I can start building up scholarships before I get there. If coach can give me a full ride, great, that's awesome. But if he does not give you, if she does not, or he does not give you a full ride, then is there a way that I can piece this thing together? Are there some things I already have that I can use to help this cost? Because school is expensive. Is there a transfer scholarship? Is there a scholarship for a border and state? Is there an in-state scholarship? Is there what can I put together? Are there grants? Are there any things I can put together so it's less of a financial burden for myself and my family going through this process? 4, this is my last one. Almost one of the most important ones, other than the third one, and that is building your own scholarship, is understanding the parameters around your scholarship. It's one thing to get a scholarship. It feels great to say I was offered this from this school, or I got that from this school. But there are a lot of people that lose their scholarships because they don't know the parameters of it. So you need to take your time, read whatever fine print they put in there. But when you do so, you start realizing that, some scholarships you have to have a certain number of credit hours. Let's say 15 credit hours. Right? And you don't think about that when you're dropping classes because you don't want to get an F on your transcript. You out there dropping classes like it's a buy one, get one special. And like, oh, now let me drop that, and I'm going to drop that one, and drop 2 of those. And now you're down to 9 credit hours. You're not even full-time student. You're not going to be able to use that scholarship. Another thing is some scholarships require that you live on campus. You want to be off campus with your buddies. You don't want to live on campus. Well, that voids your scholarship. Some of you, your scholarships say that you have to have a 3.0 or 2.7 or 2.9, whatever it is. If you don't know that, yeah, you got a scholarship, but you're not going to be able to keep the scholarship.
Hoop Loud